Hey YouTube, I am sitting here. I'm tired. I'm sure you can tell my face. I better start wrinkling my forehead. I'm gonna regret it. I'm sleepy, y'all. But this is my only time to have time to myself. And instead of messing with my sewing machine, I finally got my needles. Let me tell you, my brother Lex, talented. And when I get going on this sewing project, I'm gonna get on his nerves a little more. I'm gonna call. And I got my bobbin pins, my bobbins. So I guess I'll play with that tomorrow. I went to the herb shop near my home and got me some Crazy Horse Smoking Blend. I am detoxing from everything. Wish me luck. So I have this, and that's what I'm doing in my life. I'm trying new stuff. Oh no. Okay. Maybe I should clean this out. Anyway, we're going to read from the William Poopa. I'm making sure the camera ain't picking up on all my action. So, this is, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Hold on. I'm just hilarious. I called my sister. I said, I wish you were here. I'm getting to some stuff together. Anyway. What was I gonna do? What's in it? Damiana, lobelia, passion flower, and skullcap. So, I just looked up what Damiana. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to look up Lobelia. Yep, what does that do? Okay, what does it do? It's Indian tobacco, has a long history of use and herbal remedy. Let's see what it's an herbal remedy for. Let me tell you, this is for asthma. I'm in shock. That's awesome. Passion flower. This would be wonderful to smoke, you know. Passion flower is for anxiety. And skullcap. That sounds scary. Let's see what it means. My face ashy, y'all. It's too late for me to care at this point, you know what I'm saying? And it's SCULLCAP. What the skullcap do? Oh, I'm out of control, y'all. Okay, so this is skullcap. It treats nervousness, irritability. Okay, we're winning. We got some herbs that are smokable. And I'm going to read this William Cooper. And I'm going to try it. Alright, let me get y'all. Okay. So, I want to start with, I believe, according to my research, that is true. The best indication of infiltration is that on November 27, 1983, the Pope retracted all of the papal bulls against Freemasonry and allowed Catholics, after several hundred years, to again become members of secret societies without fear of excommunication. Now, the goal of the Illuminati to elect one of their own to the papacy appears to have come to fruition. If that is the case, the New World Order is just on the horizon. Now is the time. The first U.S. ambassador to the Vatican was William Wilson, a Knight of Malta. His appointment was probably illegal and for a fact was highly unethical. Wilson could not possibly have represented the U.S. when his allegiance was sworn to the Pope. Wilson, if you remember, took an unauthorized trip to Libya and met privately with Libyan officials at a time when travel to Libya had been banned by the president. President Ronald Reagan had called Gaddafi a mad dog. They funny when they insult other presidents, you know, it's all part of something else. So he called him a mad dog and made a few strong threats. The U.S. had been resolute in bombing Libya, even though civilians were killed. Following Wilson's trip, Gaddafi issued a press release stating that an American diplomat had been sent to reduce tensions with Libya. The State Department denied that any such thing had taken place. Ambassador Wilson closed his mouth and refused any comment. To this day, he said nothing, even though his actions made a liar of the United States and embarrassed us worldwide. A clue to what was happening is the fact that while we had cut off Libya and even bombed them, and while travel by U.S. citizens to Libya was forbidden, 5 huge oil conglomerates were filling their pockets dealing with Gaddafi. One of the companies was headed by J. Peter Grace, president of W.R. Grace. 8 members of the W.R. Grace company are members of the Knights of Malta. According to an article by Leslie jailed in the New York Times, administration officials had expressed concern about Mr. Wilson's activities. These actions, they said, often seem to revolve around his contacts and interests in the oil business. Of course. Why wouldn't it? Come on, y'all. Y'all know the game. Wilson should have been fired, but instead nothing happened except that he and his wife attended a papal Easter Mass and stood next to George Shultz and his wife. In diplomatic language, this indicated private approval of his actions. George Shultz, of course, is a member of the CFR, the Bohemian Club, and the Bechtel Corporation, all of which have close ties to the Order and the Knights of Malta. Wilson engaged in several other improprieties during his ambassadorship. Again, in each case, nothing happened. Finally, he resigned. Later, if you will remember, President Reagan suffered a fall from a horse on William Wilson's ranch in Mexico. Do you seriously think that President Reagan would have visited Wilson's home in Mexico if he had not approved of Wilson's action while he was the U.S. ambassador to the Vatican? Knight of Malta, Myron Taylor was president of Roosevelt's envoy. Knight of Malta, John McCone was President Kennedy's envoy, and he also the director of the CIA, and he also was the director of the CIA during the early 60s. A former mayor of New York City, Robert Wagner, was President Jimmy Carter's envoy. Frank Shakespeare replaced William Wilson. Frank Shakespeare is a Knight of Malta, and so it goes. President Reagan spoke at the annual Knights of Malta dinner. The Knights of Malta all have diplomatic immunity. They can ship goods across borders without paying duty or undergoing custom checks. Does that ring any bells? In any case, that is power. The Knights of Malta is held up by a backbone consisting of nobility. Nearly half of the 10,000 members belong to Europe's oldest and most powerful families. This cements the alliance between the Vatican and the black nobility. The black nobility is mostly the rich and powerful of Europe. The head of the black nobility is a family that can claim direct descendancy from the last Roman emperor. There we go. Rome is showing up. Maybe now you can see that these things are beginning to fall into their proper place. Membership in the Knights of Malta entails obedience to one's superior in the order and ultimately to the Pope. Therefore, a U.S. ambassador who is also a member of the Knights of Malta faces a conflict of interest. Why is this fact ignored? President Bush appointed Knight of Malta Thomas Melody to the post of U.S. ambassador to the Vatican. The Vatican has founded the Pope John Paul II Center for Prayer and Study for Peace at 1711 Ocean Avenue, Spring Lake. And I laugh because, they all about peace and this and that. I mean, these people are horrible. 1711 Ocean Avenue, Spring Lake, New Jersey, in a mansion overlooking the ocean. The mansion was given to the New York Archdiocese by the estate of Elmer Bobst, who died in 1978. He was a multimillionaire and chairman of Warner Lambert Company. Richard Nixon was a frequent visitor. Directors of the center were Kurt Waldheim, former Secretary General of the United Nations and ex-Nazi war criminal Cyrus Vance, former Secretary of State under Carter and member of both the Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission, Claire Booth Luce, a dame of the Knights of Malta, and J. Peter Grace of W.R. Grace Company, who is head of the Knights of Malta in the United States. The center was set up by the Vatican as a part of the Pope's new peace plan, which will bring the world together. See my paper, The Secret Government. The center has two roles: to educate Catholics and their children to accept the New World Order. And the second one is to provide residents for the World Peace Solution computer and an ongoing study for peaceful solutions to any future problems which may endanger world peace. The computer is hooked to the world's capitals via satellite. All nations have agreed to relinquish sovereignty to the Pope and submit future problems to the computer for solution. Of course, this will not go into effect until the New World Order is publicly announced. I believe that the New World Order was born in secrecy on January the 19th, 1989. Now you know. Acquaint yourself anew with the teachings of Jesus. Compare his teachings with the tenets of the Illuminati, and then compare it with the following. The Vatican has stated at various times that the Pope is for total disarmament. The Pope is for elimination of the sovereignty of nation states. The Pope is also stating that property rights are not to be considered true property rights. The Pope believes that the only Vatican knows what is right for man. Wow. In the early 1940s, the IG Farben Chemical Company employed a Polish salesman who sold cyanide to Nazis for use in Auschwitz. The same salesman also worked as a chemist in the manufacture of the poison gas. This same cyanide gas, along with Zyklon B and the malathion, was used to exterminate millions of Jews and other groups. Their bodies were burned to ashes in ovens. After the war, salesman, fearing for his life, joined the Catholic Church and was ordained a priest in 1946. Let's just say they reward him when they kill people. One of his closest friends was Dr. Wolf Schmutznis. Peace and power. Next video.